Alright, what's up guys? This is John from Team Rhinoki. I mentioned on my last how-to video for healing when I was doing my Holy Paladin that I would be bringing a video, I would attempt to bring a video for all the healers. This is going to be there'll be multiple videos on this tune because I'm going to do one for Holy and for Disc. This one's just for the Disc to start off. Not my favorite play style or my favorite spec by far. It's one of the least favorite ones. Um, I'm not a fan of bubbles for healing absorbs. They bother me because they're just real. I just feel like they're real degenerate to gameplay for healers because they just change game mechanics so vastly. Having a Disc Priest and a Mythic Raid or Heroic Raid last expansion, it was just so much different having that versus not having it. The fact that they just break certain mechanics, I feel. And this is just my opinion. I really hope Blizzard does find a way to change that. I know they've got some plans for the Disc Priest for next expansion, so we'll see how that goes. But this is my guide, so let's start off. Level 15, guys. This is all preference. Angelic Bulwark might be the preferred talent. I'm not really sure. I just like Desperate Prayer. I like that on-demand pick-me-up when I need it. But Angelic Bulwark, when attack brings me below 30% health, I gain an absorb equal to 15% of my maximum health. It's a minute and a half cooldown. I don't know if our mastery affects that or not, but I really don't let many things bring me below 30% health anyways as a healer. So, because if I die, everybody dies is my mindset. Next up is Spectral Guise, 30-second cooldown. Uh, I know in one video they said this talent was absolutely useless in the raiding environment. It's not really true. This talent actually comes in handy on a couple of fights, I think. Uh, the one I can think of off the top of my head was Iron Maidens. If you got targeted with that sniper shot thing, you could Spectral Guise out of it, and then nobody would have to stack to take raid damage. So I know at least one fight in particular this talent was useful. Um, Outside of that, I really don't know. I haven't raided on my priest a lot outside of the first tier. If anything in Hellfire, I'm not sure. But next up, Desperate Prayer. Heals you for 69,000 on a 2-minute cooldown. I just prefer that one versus Angelic Bulwark. Next up, level 30, Phantasm. I don't believe anybody uses it. Um, Maybe that's a PvP talent. I'm not sure. I don't PvP, guys. Angelic Feather. I always kind of figured this was more the Holy talent or the Shadow Priest talent for speed boosts. Place a Feather, 60% movement speed, 10-second recharge rate. You get 3 charges. So really, really good talent. But for priests, I just felt like Body and Soul was better for the constant. Hey, you're just giving people free haste boosts. It might annoy certain people, but I'm always bubble spamming anyways. Why not give them a 60% movement speed for 4 seconds? Level 45, Surge of Light might be a good talent. I don't really think that's a disc talent though. Mindbender is kind of revolves around haste, and Power Word Solace will give you the most gain as long as you're just using it on cooldown every time. I mean, 2% of your mana, it adds up, and then it gets a free heal with it. So, does this one do a free heal, or is that only for healing? Oh, well, this one's triggered by Atonement. For the Holy spec, it actually does a heal also, but I'll go over that. Level 60, I don't think it personally matters. This is whatever you want. I'm not going to cover them. Level 75, I don't think Spirit Shell is really viable anymore. It might still be. I'm not sure. I haven't played around with it. It might have been like a thing where you could pair this with Archangel, especially since like I have the tier 17 force set still on this guy. So reduces the mana cost of Prayer of Healing for 6 seconds. So you can get 2 Prayer Healings out of it, maybe 3. It just puts some decent sized bubbles on it. So it's one of those things I'd have to check out. I've never really played with it. I've always just done Power Infusion this expansion. 2-minute cooldown reduces the mana cost by 20% for all spells and increases your haste by 25. Twist of Fate, not really a disc talent. So Level 90. I was originally rocking Cascade, but I know somebody told me from one of my buddies in a Mythic guild was telling me that they changed how Cascade works, and something about it doesn't bounce properly if it overheals. Like if it doesn't actually heal the person, it won't bounce off them, so that it really wasn't as good for healing anymore. So I've been playing with Halo. I really like it. So I haven't tried Divine Star out. I'm sure there's one or two fight you can make it work on. Maybe Soccer Thar where you're all stacked up. So make it work there. For the level 100, you'll actually see I have Saving Grace picked. This is all pretty fight specific. Saving Grace actually isn't a bad talent. It says it heals for 94,000, but I mean right there 94. I've seen it like in raids like doing 130,000 heals for me, fully raid buffed, and it's just an insta cast. And you can kind of offset it with Archangel, because if you have a 2-stack on you, that's 30% reduced healing. Archangel gives you 25% increased healing. So you're really only losing, like if you have your Archangel up, you're only going to lose 5% healing for, 8 seconds max. I like the talent though for certain fights like Gorefiend. It's really good when you go inside the Spirit Realm because you can penance them, then Saving Grace them, and kind of, not have to spend as much mana, because this is a really cheap talent for the amount it heals. So, then I think the other one I use it on is like Fellord to rip that debuff off. And I mean, in general, I just like the talent this expansion, but that's just, or this tier, sorry, but that's just me, because I just like it. It's not the best talent by no means, it just has its place in certain fights. Next up is Words of Mending. Get a 10 stack of Words of Mending, and you get Word of Mending, or 10 stacks of Word of Mending, or however it is. Anyways, after 10 spells, it'll throw a fucking Prayer of Mending out there on people. Which is funny because I play a Holy Priest more than I play a Disc Priest, and I forget to use Prayer of Mending so much on my Disc Priest. Like, that's just free heals I'm leaving on the table, not getting. But I don't play Disc a lot, so. And then the next talent is Clarity of Will, which is really just nasty. I mean, you can see it right there. It's fairly cheap. It puts a 70, almost 70, mine puts almost 76,000 bubble. I mean, they'll all differ with gear. My priest isn't that geared. He's only 694, so I really haven't done too much on him this tier. But I mean, it's a stacking bubble, and let's see what mine stacks to real quick. Oh, wrong talent. Oh, I don't have it picked, that's why. I was trying to use it. So let's see what this stacks to. Let's just toss this over my magic carpet. So we got one for 98,000, then I'm up to 174,000, and 237. I think that's the cap out. Yeah, so three Clarity of Wills and you're capped out on it. So, I mean, just putting a 237 bubble on somebody and then you pair that up with 52,000, 53,000 plus, Power Word Shield. I mean, you can see where, and that's not counting anytime you crit with any kind of other heal that you're doing for Divine Aegis. So, I mean, we can see that if I can get one of them to crit with, there we go. So, like, that right there, just 10k bubble from, like, one tick of Prayer Mending. So, or, not Prayer Mending, I'm sorry, Penance. Penance, guys. That awesome spell. So how does the class play? Bubbles. That is the play style, guys. But before they get over that, let's go over stats. Intellect, obviously, that's your best stat. You can see I have some makeshift trinkets. These aren't really the best trinkets by any means at all. This one's not too bad, I guess. And I got a socket in it. Yay. But this trinket's probably not the best healing trinket. But it had crit and mastery on it with intellect. It was better than what I had, so I kind of had to use it. But not the best. Your main stat is going to be mastery, guys. You're to enchant gem mastery. I still enchant Mark of Shadowmoon. They might not need it at higher levels. I don't know. I don't play this tune at higher levels, so. But that's your main stat is mastery, followed by I believe crit, because if you crit with stuff, they get bigger. So. And your bubbles can crit, guys. So, obviously, I'm at 16.7% crit, not that impressive. Even my mastery, not so much impressive. Like I said, I'm only 694, guys. So I'm at 36% mastery. And some of this is my old Holy gear, so there's like a lot of multi-strike on it, like my feet, you know, those designed for multi-strike. My neck piece, I never really got a good neck piece. So just different things. I could have more mastery if I went out and found it on better gear, but I just haven't got the gear yet. Back to what I was saying, though, about playstyle, guys. It's pretty much Power Word Shield all day, every day, guys. That's what you do. That is going to be your top heal is Power Word Shield. That's all you really have to do in this class to be good. Not to be great, just to be a good Disc Priest. Just know how to Power Word Shield, guys. I'm not a fan of the class because I just feel like it's anybody can go in and be good at it. But you can definitely see the skill cap between a great Disc Priest and just your average Disc Priest. Because the average one probably isn't in the top meters compared to a good anything. As where a great Disc Priest will always be number one on the meters. They will find any way and every way to bubble everybody. That's pretty much all they do with that, though. It's just bubble, 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 bubble. And then throw prayer mending out, I think. Like, I know some people that do that. Build your stacks of Archangel up through Penance and Power Word Solace. You'll see I have Smite on there. I don't believe I ever use Smite anymore unless there's just, like, really nothing to do but just DPS because there's no healing to be done. There's no damage, or maybe just help a little bit with a burn phase. But use Penance to build your stacks, guys. You can see I have a weak aura showing me my stack of Archangel that's built, or is it Archangel? Evangelism. Sorry. It's late when I'm making this video, as always. But you build your Evangelism stacks to 5, then you have Archangel. And if I can get it stacked up real quick, I don't know if it'll give it to me. Let's see if it gives me the buff. But you'll also see you get this little buff. Crit strike chance of your next prayer of healing or flash heal increased by 100%. So let's do a flash heal. And that just put a 68,000 bubble on me. So I don't know if the heal actually crits, though. Does it? Yeah, I guess it did crit somewhere along the line. I always wonder if they critted or not. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's the play style. I'll try to get a video to go with this, just showing me in an LFR, showing you what a Disc Priest actually is doing in the raid. But that's pretty much it. There's not much else to this class, guys. Maybe throw some prayer healings in where you can. But your main healing's going to come from your Power Word Shield, your Penance, and Divine Aegis, I guess, when you proc it. Oh, one more thing, guys. I forgot glyphs. I apologize. I forgot glyphs. You're going to want Glyph of Penance. Increase the mana cost by 20% of Penance. You will never notice that difference. But it allows you to cast it on the move. That's not a bad thing at all, because each tick of 34,000, 25,000, 32,000, 27,000. I get an extra tick because of my set bonus. But tier 18 is like just increase them by it's a 100% uptime buff that makes it go for like my buddy was getting like 60k ticks out of his, so when they were fully stacked. I use Glyph of Fade, just 10% off damage taken. Just help out where I can to avoid extra damage. And then I run Glyph of Weakened Soul. It reduces the duration of Weakened Soul effect by 2 seconds on your Power Word Shield. Now, one thing I do when I can see, if you look there, that's Power Word Shield on the left, the red dot. The white square counting down is the Weakened Soul debuff. I have it set up where I can see only my Power Word Shield, but I can see everybody's Weakened Soul, just to make sure I don't try to overlap Power Word Shields in case in LFR there's a second Disc Priest, or by some terrible, terrible idea your guild thinks they need 2 Disc Priests for just your average casual run. Terrible idea. Make one of them go holy. Maybe in like Mythic raiding when everybody's a little more coordinated, you can coordinate 2 Disc Priests in a group for different things. But as a whole, they'll start stepping over each other's toes, and things will become less effective because they'll try to Power Word Shield somebody, and they can't because the debuff's on them. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the Disc video. Up next, I'll have the Holy video, and then I will have a Let's Play video for both specs following it up, guys. None of these are going to be very long. I think this one's getting right around the 15-minute mark. So other than that, guys, like I said, stay tuned. I'll have more videos. Like, subscribe, comment below any questions, comments, things like that. Goodbye.